Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday. Me and Max are going to take a drive out in the country and get ourselves lost, maybe. I don't know for sure. But we're taking the country roads, and I'll try to, if I can find where I live, where I grew up from this road, I'll show it to you. We'll see. It's been a long time since I've been on this road. Okay, it's very hilly and curvy. And there was a split in the road back there. I think I took the right way. We will see. Me and Max are heading out to the country, and we've got some scissors with us, and we are going to look for some daisies. I know they're still growing. The trees haven't changed yet, but it's been getting down in the 60s at night. Probably not cool enough for the trees to change, but I have the windows open. Daisy, May, and Lily are laying on the bed together. Guess what? They are getting along. Of course, you have to spend a little time with them. You really do. You have to take some time. Let me take my handicap sticker down. You have to take some time with them and spend some time with them and teach them. Look at the horses. Look at the horses, Max. Look at the horses. Beautiful. Hello, guys. What are you doing today? That's. They probably think, man, what a sick horse. All right. There's nobody coming. All right. I got my phone charged up. I'd like to show you where I grew up. I think this road will take us there. I am not sure. Definitely wasn't fancy house like that, I'll tell you that right now. So, very, very meager. What? Let me see. Alright, guys, so I'll tell you a story that's just come to mind of me and the mailman. When I was young, I had a crush on the mailman. He drove a Jeep, and you'll see the country road I grew up on. Okay, so in order to flirt with the mailman, I decided that I knew when he was coming, and I waited till Saturday because I didn't want, my present to go bad in the mailbox. So me and my brother Mike waited until about time for the mailman to come. And I won't add you into this, Mike, because you didn't have anything to do with it. I did it. So I put my pet frog in the mailbox, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I just thought it'll be a funny little thing, He'll appreciate it, because that was a good frog. It was a very good frog. Very friendly frog. Well, almost too friendly, because when he came by, opened the mailbox, the frog jumped into his Jeep, into his lap, and then into his Jeep. And it was quite a mess. But he didn't think it was funny, but it was very funny. And to look back, it was hilarious. It really was. He'd probably never forget that, and I never will either. But my mom got a letter in the mail. Well, we didn't get a lot of letters. We lived in the country, so she got a letter from the government. I'm like, oh no. I went and hid. It was a letter saying not to mess with the mailbox. It's federal private property or something. I don't know. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my story of the frog and the mailman. Just to say, we did not become sweethearts. I was young. I mean, probably 7, 8. I don't know. Very young. So this is it. This is the road I grew up on. Isn't that beautiful? It's gravel. Yep, it was gravel. And these houses weren't here. I think that pond was there, but the houses weren't here. Like that's a barn, and it looks, I think is that a barn or a house? Oh, that's the barn. There's a house back there. So yeah, here's the road. And okay, back then it snowed a lot. Look at those duck decoys. Hope the guy doesn't hunt for ducks. But yeah, it snowed a lot growing up. I mean, a lot. It doesn't snow here that often. I mean, you can tell global warming because, it snowed. It snowed. And my dad worked from, I think it was 1 until 11, something like that, at night. 1 to 11 at night. And my mom, in order for her to have a car, she would drive him into town and then drop him off and then, come back home and we'd be in school or whatever. Look at those rocks over there. And then we'd go pick him up at 11. She'd wake his kids up or put us in the car and go get him. I think it was only on Thursdays. I'm not sure. But I just remember going and getting him. But there were days when we didn't have a car. But because Thursdays she would go do her shopping, grocery shopping. And anyway, it would snow a lot, guys. And I'll show you the hill that we would have to go up. And the snow, I remember, I don't know, Mike, if you remember this, but I remember there were snow drifts over our heads. And there were times when we could not make it through this road in the snow. And Dad would have to put on chains. Anyway, let me show you the creek here. Of course, you didn't want to put the creek's dried up. We're very, very low on water right now. Hasn't rained. That doesn't look like the creek. Wow. It doesn't look like the creek that I remember. Maybe it winds around here. Okay. Yeah, guys, it's been a while since I've been back here. Here's the creek. Now, it was not, we had to drive through the creek. It wasn't covered up with gravel or anything like that. I'm going to pull off the side of the road to show you. There's snakes in here. I think last time I came here I saw some snakes and stuff. I'm going to be real careful. But, Max, I'd rather you not get out because there are snakes here. But you can find arrowheads down here. You can go arrowhead hunting. Yeah, there's a little bit of water. But see, that right there, we had to drive through that. I remember my dad hitting a possum or a raccoon right back there. And what he'd do, he'd take us home. He'd come back and get it, put it in a box, and he'd even sleep with it until it was time for it to go back into the wild. He'd take care of it. Look at that flower. And he loved nature and he could even do divining rods, to hunt for water, for wells and stuff. He could do that. I can too. Look at the fish in there. They're huge. So your dad would have his fishing pole in there. We would pull over. We'd go Saturday. Saturday was the day that we went for a drive in the country. We'd pack all the kids in the station wagon. It was a huge station wagon. It was huge. And we would just pack all of us kids, and I'd have a friend over. Pam would have her friend Ann, which is my friend Ann now too. We were all friends growing up. But she was close to Pam. Look, there's a dead fish there. What's going on with that? She was close to Pam. Anyway, Mom had 5 kids, 4 girls and a boy, and us girls always had a friend with us. So there'd be 8, 9 kids in the car, and Mom and Dad. It was crazy. So anyway, it didn't matter. We had fun. And they didn't care either. The more the merrier, they always said. So this is the creek. And yes, there's pretty big fish in there. I'm not sure what those are. They don't look like bluegill. I'll have to tell Mike about that when he comes to visit. He can go fishing here. Bring the boys. Well, Mike, I'm telling you about it now because I know you watch my videos. Remember the creek we grew up in? Grew up around. It's got fish in it. And it goes up that way. But there are snakes around here, so I'm going to be very, very careful of that. Look how nice and quiet it is. I come down here with my boots on. I like my rain boots because I think they'll protect me from a snake bite. Now, my mom used to send me and the kids out, and we would go hiking in these woods, and she would send us out with a snake bite kit. She told us how to use it. She'd tell us to come home before dark. So we would run these woods. We haven't had rain in a while here, I can see. Actually forgot his collar, his leash even. Anyway, this was the creek that we drove through. And then they put concrete in it. They tried to fill it in because the school bus, actually it turned around at our house. No houses was from this point back. Oh, sorry about that. There were no houses down this way, or if there were, there might have been that one as I got to be a teenager. But this is the hill, guys, that I'm telling you about, that we had to go up in the snow. 3 or 4 feet of snow. I mean, sometimes it was high, and you can tell. Okay, now I remember my dad getting out of the station wagon right here and having to put chains on. When he got back in the car, we had groceries in the car and everything. When he got back in the car, his hands were all chapped and bleeding, and I mean, he just looked like he was frozen to death almost. And we had, we really weren't dressed for it. Sometimes we'd have to get out and bring some groceries and walk it up because we could not make it up this hill. It might be, I don't know if it's hunting season. Probably. Okay, that tells me not to go hiking right now without my vest on. But yeah, we'd have to walk up that hill and walk all this way with groceries at time. But most of the time he would make sure that, we'd make it up the hill. He'd put chains on, get a head start. He'd put heavy stuff in the station wagon. I mean, this is a hill. Definitely is a hill. And I hope I don't meet somebody on the other side here. Yeah. We're coming up on where I grew up. Now, I think along here was a strawberry patch. It's hard to remember where it was. Okay, so that was the path that goes back to the daffodil field that me and Mike used to go back. It was a whole field of daffodils, and I picked so many I couldn't even hold them. They were falling out of my hand. We go back there, and my rabbit would follow me. I had a few pet rabbits, but one that was really close to, and would follow me back there. Me and Mike would just lay in the daffodils, look up at the puffy clouds, and talk and hang out. We were very young. So this is the house that we grew up in. It's, not like it was. It had white siding and blue shutters and didn't have a garage. That was our living room. And the yard seemed a lot bigger, of course, when you're young. Yeah, we had a fire. The only way that we heated that house was to put a potbelly stove in there. And then, it looks like they got rabbits. And then that side house there, the one here, that house, that was my grandma, on my mom's side, my grandma and grandpa's house. We attached the two houses to make them bigger as the family grew. We got older. But looks like they're using it as a garage kind of storage thing. But yeah, that's the house. It was, they said, had had siding on it, and we were proud of it. I mean, we were country kids. And back there, I wonder if that daffodil field is still back there. Way, way back there. Just on the other side of this field, really. Not that far. There was a guy that lived over there. He moved in a trailer. He said he had trophies too. He said he was a coach of the New York Mets or something. Oh, there's a doggy there. What do you think, Max, huh? There's a doggy. So what they've done here is the people who bought the house and the land, they put a double wide trailer on it. Yeah, and we had a garden over here. Sassafras tree, and yeah, this was pretty much woods. So now, look at that, how pretty. Oh. You know, I forgot bumblebees even existed. Look at those bumblebees on that. I don't know if you can see them. That's how quiet it is out here. So yeah, we went up that hill because this hill is actually steeper. And Mom always told me and Mike when it was wintertime, don't take your sled down that hill. Don't do it. Don't do it. Of course, it wasn't my brother Mike's idea. He wouldn't do anything like this, dangerous. I got him out of his comfort zone, put it that way. But he would have minded Mom. Yeah, I know he would have. And here, this isn't even a steep hill that we would go down. So we used to play in these woods, and there were grapevines we would swing from. I don't know if you know what grapevines are. There's one right there. We'd cut it at the bottom and then swing over the holler right there. Oh gosh. Boy, did we have fun. So, Max, look in the woods. Look in the woods. There's squirrels and deers and rabbits and all kinds of stuff out there. Caves. Alright, so that was the hill that Mom said we could go down. That little small hill right there. Okay. Alright, so this was the hill we were not to go down. And for good reason. I'm lucky I'm alive. Mike too, probably. Because it was one of those riders, you know, that had you could guide them in front, wooden, the middle. Here's the hill. It doesn't look that, but on a sled with no brakes, let's try it and see. Oh yeah. You need brakes, guys. You need brakes. It was fun though, but the worst part about it was walking back up the hill in the snow, pulling your sled. We didn't think about that. Definitely didn't think about it once we got to the bottom. We didn't go back down it, I don't think, because we were pretty worn out from walking back up it. So here is my cousin Ann's place. Look how beautiful. This is actually a national forest, or the edge of a national forest that we're in right now. It was a national forest at the time we lived in it. I don't know, my grandpa bought some government from the land. Land from the government, I can't talk. Land from the government. And so I'll show you. That's where the bus would drive up and pick us up. That is my cousin Ann's house right there in front of us. And when we go horseback riding, that's where we'll be. Right there. She has, is that it? Wait a minute. I have the wrong house? No, I have the wrong house. Sorry, guys. It kind of looks like that, but that's not it. Hold on. It's on this side of the road. I was wondering why it was over there and not over here. Okay. So that's it. Here's the creek again. Look, they've got a rope. So when it rains a lot, they can swing and land in that. Have to be... What in the world? So there's my cousin Ann's house. Right there. Do you hear that? I'm not sure what that is. There's her horse barn. I don't see any horses out. She's probably out riding for sure. Oh, that's a horse making that noise. Okay. See it? It kind of looks like Dolly, but she does have one that's wild that she's training. She's got all the horses gone. She's out riding. She is afraid to ask me. Well, she's not afraid to ask. She's afraid to take me riding right now because the Sunday before I got here, she took some friends out and they got into some ground bees. And the bees went up the girl's jeans, inside her clothes. She had to take her clothes off. She was out in the country, out in the woods. She had to take her clothes off to get the bees. They had so many bee stings. And I told her I understood and that I'll wait for the ground to freeze and come back out. If we have a day like in November or something.